And if you could change one thing about athletic training, what would that be?
Well, changing, I guess, as a high school trainer, when you have 32 sports, school systems were financially locked, but I would have been great if I had had two of us at the high school at that time, during my tenure, because I covered everything, and so I was out usually 5 nights a week, plus Friday nights. And I had an understanding wife, so that helped a lot. But still, and I enjoyed it, so I can't complain there. But I think more help in covering all the different sports as schools expand their sports programs. I think that's probably a needed issue.
Okay. Do you have any pearls of wisdom for the younger members of the OATA?
You gotta love it. You gotta love it and be willing to spend the time and understand that a lot of the coaches nowadays are very reliant upon the trainers, much more so than in the old days when I played. And one of the assistant coaches did wonders with a whirlpool and a heat lamp, back in the 50s.
And then, is there one quote or phrase that you're known for repeating?
Not really. I talk, and I had lots of I called them student traitors. I guess you got student aides now, but I had a number of them over my tenure, and so they heard me say a lot of things. Some of them not mentionable.
And what is one of your favorite memories with being involved in OATA?
OATA? Well, yes, just the growth of the organization from the infancy of our meeting at Upper Arlington to the committees I attended to set up the award system and so forth, some of the different groups, and to see it grow as it has over the years, and it can become much more of a professional organization.
What is one of the biggest challenges that you've seen or experienced in your career?
I guess I was fortunate. I didn't have a lot of major challenges. I had a team physician, and then he retired, and in came another one from Ohio State as a doctor, and he was with me for 27 years. So I guess I had good support in that regards. And in the early years, we had some go-rounds with the Chiropractic Association in our community as far as what they could supposedly cover and what they couldn't. So those were, and then the early stages of state licensure requirements for coaches. They had to attend the meetings, and I had to organize those for our area. I had 100 to 150 attendees, and some sat in the back row reading their newspapers rather than listening to what the program was presenting. But those were, if you call them challenges, but those were issues.
Okay. What does being an athletic trainer mean to you?
I think it's a position that helps to protect kids, for one. Secondly, it aids coaches in that they don't have to worry about taping or worry about whether they come back in or out of a ball game. I think as a trainer, I think you're part of a team effort, and your role is one that can help not only the athletes but also help the coaches, and you can also be an intermediary with the parents when it especially comes to injury issues.
Looking back, is there anything that you would change about your career, and if so, why?
Changed in my career, like I say, I grew with our programs, and so when soccer was added, I went to the board and wanted an assistant, and they approved the position and never hired anybody. So it's one of those situations where I worked with what I had. I worked in a training room that was about 10 by 15, if that, for many years until we finally built a new training room facility that expanded opportunity, the area tremendously, so that helped. But and I helped design that. But as far as changing things, I guess I was able to cope with and work with what I had.
Were you an author, creator, or inventor of anything? State law, bylaws, padding, anything like that?
I was too busy. I had 5 classes to teach, and plus the athletic training. So no, I didn't have. And then I had a wife and 2 children to raise. So
Absolutely.
no, I didn't venture into those areas.
How did you get interested in athletic training? And then if you could give us a brief summary of your career.
How did I get interested? I told other individual, I got a call from a football coach. I played football at Fenway High School, and I went to Mount Union, played there for a year, graduated from Northern, and he called, wanted a trainer and an equipment manager. And so that's how I got involved and I just did football for about 2 or 3 years. Then the basketball coach got mad because I wasn't covering basketball, so I extended into basketball. And then hockey was started, so I started covering hockey, and then wrestling, and eventually soccer came along on the scene, and so I covered soccer. And so as our sports programs grew, I just sort of ended up covering all of those things and became a full-time trainer as far as our sports program for most of my career.
And then if you don't mind us asking, how much was your first salary?
I think $600 for football only. And then I finally went to the athletic director and said, how about $600 each quarter? And so that's how eventually I think I finished up. I think $6,000 was my extracurricular salary when I finished my career, on top of my teaching salary.
Okay. And then last question I have for you. Could you explain how your practice or your philosophy has changed throughout your career?
Well, I've been retired for 11 years, so
Okay.
to say that has it changed, I guess I just see the organization hopefully expanding and encompassing all the new trainers in the state, and still trying to educate and encourage school districts to be aware that an athletic trainer can be a real plus to their athletic program.